would like to demonstrate what it's like when I see some of my families who have children who have respiratory problems. Especially these are families, like I said, who are living in poverty, living by freeways, that kind of thing. So the little baby, if you can't breathe, he's a little baby's nasal will have nasal flaring because they can't get enough air. They're struggling for air, and then they have what we call grunting, or retractions, where their stomach goes in. It's a very frightening thing to see. And I've seen this in 2-month-olds and 6-month-olds. It's a very scary thing. So what's going on? Why is this happening? Turns out babies who live in poverty have higher rates of respiratory distress than do the rest of the general population. Some people say, oh, well, that's just genetic. Some people just have asthma and bronchitis. But actually, that's not true. Lots of studies have been done, and you've probably been presented with them, all the testimony you've heard, that people who live by freeways, people who are outdoors, homeless people who sleep under freeways, people that live in industrial areas tend to have, they're breathing much higher levels of particulate matter, and they have higher rates of respiratory problems than the average person. So one of the reasons is this. People who are poor, who work at minimum wage jobs, a lot of them can't afford a car. It's just a simple fact. They have to take the bus everywhere they go, or they walk. Here in Sacramento, and I know in lots of cities like Sacramento, the bus system is abysmal. It's just horrible. The lines are several miles apart, so if you're in the middle between 2 bus lines, you have to walk a mile just to get to the bus. You have to wait. They usually only run once an hour. Sometimes in Sacramento, only once every 2 hours. So you're sitting, if you have to transfer to get to your job, you sit sometimes even an hour at a bus stop on a busy street. Fumes are constantly being spewed in your face as the buses and trucks are whizzing by. So the babies who are going to daycare on the bus, they are breathing this in. As we know, babies have undeveloped lungs, and they get respiratory distress much easier than we do. So that's one of the reasons, just not having a car and having to be on the bus system. The other thing, of course, is where people who live in poverty have to live. A lot of times they live in apartments that are right on busy streets, or homes or apartments right by the freeway, not where we would probably choose to live. And usually they don't have trees or other greenery that filters. There's some, not all, but some trees actually filter the particulates out. And a lot of people in poverty don't have the fortune to live like that. So all day long, all night long, when they're at home, they're breathing in much more particulate matter than you or I do. So it's just a physical reality that people in poverty live and travel in the areas of our cities that are most highly concentrated of the particulate matter. And they don't have the means to protect themselves like we do. We drive around in air-conditioned cars. We don't have to be on the streets all the time. And then our workplaces generally are cleaner. And as you know, the cost of taking care of little babies, or anyone who has a lot of respiratory problems, is very high. I'm sure a lot of people have presented the cost, so I'm not going to do that. But it's very expensive. So what can be done? I agree with the recommendations put forth by the American Lung Association for the annual particulate matter limit of 11 micrograms per cubic meter and the daily limit of 25 micrograms. I agree with those, though actually I think they could be even stronger. As maybe you know, there's no level of particulate matter that's safe. So really the level should be 0 if we really want people to be healthy. So the 11 and 25 is actually a compromise. It could be even stronger. And what I think that will do, it will force the states to be creative, and the localities that have to conform to the regulations. Maybe they would decide to triple the amount of public transportation. So if we have, every 5 minutes the light rail goes, and every 5 blocks, then people won't have to be waiting. Obviously, then there'll be cars off the road. Like New York City, the middle class people even ride the subway because it's so convenient, and that would be great if we could force the states to do that. Of course, then there's solar energy and wind energy. I thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. I think it boils down to really a moral issue. Does the government protect all of our citizens, or does it protect the companies that are making a profit? Thank you.